Well, Jonjo, the Berkshire Million to look forward to this weekend. Obviously, as well, the Winter Million at Lingfield. Now switch to Windsor. So we've got Jumping at Windsor is back. We've got Ascot on Saturday as well. Lots of money up for grabs, and they've been rewarded with some cracking entries.
Yeah, exactly. They put a real conscious effort to make the prize money really good this year. And they've been, I think, rewarded with the entries. And, having it at Windsor, Ascot Windsor, it's making it a real winter festival. So I think it's important that it's supported.
It is very localised, and you're certainly supportive of the entries from the yard. We'll talk about the Friday's runners. You've got Johnnywho going at Windsor in the 1:15 in Novice Chase.
Yeah, he goes. I think there's 7 in it. I think first time up to 3 miles over fences. Since he won in Carlisle, he has been a little bit disappointing. But hoping maybe in a handicap over a further trip might just suit him a little bit better.
And then we've got Reckless Eric. Obviously, I know you and Ryan Keelan Woods will be on, but he's from the yard. He's a winner at Cheltenham already, and ran a cracking race there last time out.
Yeah, he hasn't done a lot wrong this year, to be honest. He fell at the second last at Wincanton first time out this year when he looked like he was going well. And then he won at Cheltenham the next time, and he ran a good second the last time out, although the race didn't really run to suit. They all left off the leader, and he never came back to him. Just one of them funny run races, but he ran very well in second, and he deserves his chance. He's off a nice handicap rating in a better race, and he deserves his chance at a big money race like this.
And then last on Friday, you're on board Hastings, who's already got a bit of experience around the Windsor Jumps track.
Yeah, that's it. Richie won him last time out at Windsor. He won nicely. Looked like he needed to brush up his jumping a little bit still, but on the whole, we've been happy with him since Windsor, and hopefully he can keep progressing, and we'll know a little bit more as to where we go with him in the spring.
He's quite lightly raced and bumpers, straight to hurdles, and not hanging around over fences. Is that always going to be his game?
Yeah, that's it. And we got him as an older horse. He was a 6-year-old, I think, when he was challenging bumpers in the spring. So he was always just going to go one season hurdles and then go straight over fences. He's a very big horse, nearly 17 hands. So, chasing was always going to be his game.
Let's move on to Ascot on Saturday, Clarence House Day. All the Glory, the 140. I know this used to be in the colours of your mum, but it's changed ownership.
Yeah, Coral had bought her just before her last run, and it was great. She won at Southall. Ben has got on with her well the last couple of times. She was a decent mare for us last year. She won the Grade 2 Mares Final at Newbury. And, she's continued that form into this season. To be honest, I thought the ground was going to be too soft the last day, and she managed to get through it fine. So she's improving away nicely, and maybe now is the time, whether she's good enough to win, I'm not sure, especially if Kajis comes over. But, I think now is the time to try a good one, as she's in such good form.
And then there's a big prize up for grabs as well. Gypcot's got a few options over the weekend. Again, I expect Keelan Woods may ride, but how's he been since he come across to the yard?
Yeah, we were delighted to get him because obviously he looked good when he won the back end of last season, and he backed it up with a good third in the Imperial Cup. It was disappointing the first and second day for us, but took us a little time to get to know him. He's not a very straightforward horse at all at home, but we always felt he wanted a trip, and obviously he got his win tinkered with after Bangor, and it certainly did the trick at Newbury. He won going away at Newbury, and we think probably maybe we might go 3 miles with him at the weekend, whether that's Haydock or Windsor, not too sure yet. He does handle cut in the ground, so that won't be a problem. But I think maybe just if he got 3 miles, it would just open up a few more options for us coming into the spring. So, we haven't ruled out any race yet, but I'd imagine we'll probably be going 3 miles with him.
Yeah, and you've also got one in a similar situation or similar entries in Wilfil for Feature Hay.
Yeah, he won 3 novice hurdles and had a little bit of a break after that. Then he came back, had a nice comeback run at Taunton, got a little bit tired, was a little bit gassy, didn't necessarily jump with the most fluency, but I think he was just fresh and well. We always planned him to run it this weekend I would imagine he'll probably go to Ascot, providing everything goes well up until then.
And then just talking about Country Park as well. He's got a couple of options, and he was travelling well when he came to grief late on Ascot last time.
Yeah, he was travelling really well, and he's a horse that's threatened quite a bit so far without actually winning. So he's got plenty of experience for a novice. The race on Saturday looks like a winner's race. Basically, it looks pretty hot, but he's the only one I think that has a danger that has got no penalty. He's also in at Sunday at Windsor as well. So. That's a handicap, a novice handicap. So we haven't decided where we'll go with him yet, but we hope that there'll be a nice handicap with him in the spring. But he's a little bit frustrating. He keeps knocking on the door, but he has ability and he's consistent.
Just a word, I know you're not going to ride, but in the Clarence House chase, of course. I mean, these are the fastest 2 milers around. We've got John Bond versus an Ergoman. I mean, I know you'll sit in the waiting room and watch this one. I mean, what's it like as a jockey on these 2 mile superstars?
Well, I've never ridden one quite as good as either of them two, but they are, they're the pinnacle of what you want to ride as a jockey, really. Going over fences over serious speed, and there's never room for any blemishes in them kind of races. So it'd be a fascinating race. You can make cases for both of them. I think John Bond at the minute is so rock solid. And Energumen was exciting when he came back. Obviously, Banbridge won the King George afterwards, when they faced each other back in the Hillaway. So I don't know who I would. I'd probably go with John Bond just because Energumen is coming back from. He's had a run, but he's come back from a long absence. There is always that little bit of a doubt about the bounce factor and stuff like that. And John Bond is just rock solid. It's very hard to pick holes in John Bond, but I think some people will forget just how good a horse Energumen was back a couple of years ago. So, it's going to be a proper test and probably John Bond's biggest test he's had in a while.
Yeah, third time lucky for Energumen. Just a quick one on John Bond. I mean, he's got faultless records. I've been beaten twice, both at Cheltenham, but he never really kind of gets the credit he deserves, does he?
No, he doesn't seem to. And I think, for a while, probably it was because he was Douvan's brother. But I mean, arguably, he's a much better horse than Douvan, really. He's a much more consistent horse. So I don't think he does. I think he probably, to get that, probably to win the champion chase at the festival, I think he would definitely get it then. And maybe that is the one reason why he doesn't. But still, he's won a lot of grade ones, a lot of good races, and he's never put in a bad run. So, he's ultra consistent, and it'd be a fascinating race on Saturday.
Yeah, 2 brilliant days, Friday and Saturday. But then time for a big breath because we're going to do all again on Sundays. We go back to Windsor. We're going to entry for Kukio in the opener.
Yeah, he's in there. Not 100% sure if he'll run just as of yet. It's got an interesting profile. He's second twice, second to one of Jamie Snowden's, I think it's called Epic West, I think, up in Carlisle, who I think won again afterwards. And then also second to a horse Wally Murphy, called Fingal Bridge, who actually runs on Friday in a novice in Market Raisin. And he got an opening mark of 107, which I think is probably fair, but I'd like to think he's workable off it as well. We weren't going to step him up until he was 5, but I think 2.5 will definitely suit him now come the spring. So we'll just have to see how soft the ground is and stuff, and we'll make a decision. But no, he'd be a nice horse in handicaps going forward into the spring.
And then you don those famous JP Manor silks once again on Krabilly, who's so close to giving you another festival winner last year. How's he been?
He's come back from a setback after Chepstow over hurdles. He ran in the Silver Trophy, didn't come back quite right, so we gave him the time he needed, and just ready to start back off. Originally we were just giving him a run over hurdles to get a bit of fitness into him, and we're looking at possibly something like the Paddy Power, but we had to change tack after that. there aren't really many 2.5 mile races for him at the minute, but he won he won his hurdles over 2 miles, and Windsor on soft ground over 2 miles would be a nice starting point for him. Um, but it's just hopefully getting him back on track, because obviously his last showing was a non-event, so just need to get back into the groove of things with him. And hopefully, because he hasn't ran much at all this season, he'll have a productive and busy spring campaign.
Now, one name that sprung out when the entries were made earlier on in the week was Indiana Dream. Unbeaten, very promising, but I guess very fragile, and it'll be due to have his first start in the Fleur de Lis for you on Sunday.
Yeah, he's a very peculiar profile. He's won a bumper, the maiden hurdle, and a beginner's chase, and he's got a rating of 152. So it's very difficult to place a horse like that. You've got to go straight into open handicaps or find a conditions race like this. He obviously has had his problems in the past with missing gaps in his career. But I think he beat Saint Felicien in his beginner's chase, who's now rated 147, which is why he got such a lofty rating. But yeah, it's just about getting him started back, and the ground will be soft there hopefully as well, and just get him into the groove of things. We thought running him in a open handicap straight away off 152 after only having one run over fences and one run over hurdles be a little bit unfair. So this looks like the right place to start him off at, and we'll know a lot more after this run.
And he's obviously settled in for the switch okay?
Yeah, he's been with us a couple of months, and very straightforward horse, very big horse, and we've had no issues with him since he's come, but we'll learn plenty at the weekend.
And then in the 340, you're going to don the same silks on Fortunate Man, who's had a fruitful campaign so far.
Yeah, we'll likely run him on Sunday. I think 3.5 miles will suit him down to the ground. He won at Aintree on Boxing Day when no one, including myself, couldn't really see much. But I think the further trip definitely suits him, and he was unlucky not to have won at Carlisle the time before that. But the horse that won that day won the Lincolnshire National also on Boxing Day. So I'd say the form of that race is probably strong as well. So we're looking forward to stepping him up in trip.
And then you've got the long walk in the bumper in Berkshire that concludes the card.
Yeah, he ran 2 nice races so far in his career. He was second, first last the last day. I felt he probably should have won. I actually rode the winner for Charlie Longston on Boxing Day in a near enough a winner's bumper, and he was third that day, and I felt that was quite a good race. So I think the form of probably that first last race was not too bad, and this is a 40 grand bumper, and there's not many of them about unless you get to Cheltenham or Aintree. So we thought it was worth. It's his last bumper he can run in, so we thought it was his last. He may as well have a go at a nice crack. I don't think he'll disgrace himself.
And just a word about yourself. I mean, obviously, it's just been a very good campaign and a really busy Christmas. There's some cracking racing over Christmas. Then you've had this break, enforced break because of the weather. But now you've got this racing this weekend. Then we're straight into Trials Day. Obviously, the DRF, some good racing at Sandown. It really comes thick and fast now, building up to Cheltenham, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. A little bit annoying. Obviously, there's nothing you can do with the weather, but we were kind of steamrolling through Christmas time, and everything was going well and into New Year's Day at Cheltenham. But I mean, it's typical at this time of year. You normally get about a week where most racing is abandoned. But we did back off the horses a little bit, and gave them a chance to kind of regroup for the second part of the season. And now everyone's raring to go on all cylinders. So hopefully we can make it pay.
Best of luck this weekend, and hopefully a few winners to come.